I left my dad's wedding early to go on a vacation with my friends.
Hey, honeymoon for you too.
I know that the title makes me seem like a terrible daughter, but the story needs context. A few weeks ago, my 21 female dad got married again. My parents divorced when I was 4, and my mom remarried when I was 9.
Not again.
By the way, this comes from user unfairtadpole407 on the r/OK storytime subreddit. So, I love my stepdad and stepsister. I never understood the horror stories about stepfamilies because my experience was and still is good. I introduce my stepdad as my dad and my stepsister as my sister. When my stepdad introduces me, he always says, "And this is my kid." My dad dated several people in the past and was even engaged at one point. All of these women and their kids were similar experiences. I still talk to some of my dad's ex's kids with his permission. Kathy was my wake-up call. When dad told me when I was 19 at the time, and my siblings who were 19 male and 25 female now, but 17 male and 23 female then, he was dating Kathy, we weren't surprised. Her husband had passed a year before, and my dad worked with both of them for about a decade before the incident. Ooh, he stepped in real quick, didn't he? He said, "I'm so sorry to hear about that." My dad supported Kathy after the accident and helped with her 2 kids who were just 10 and 12 at the time.
I bet you just helped with the kids.
Yeah, trying to help make some new ones probably. A little less than a year after his passing, Dad told us he and Kathy were romantically involved. We supported him because he told us that they were serious and dating with the intent to marry. We met Kathy and her kids about a week later. My siblings and I, 23 female, 19 female, and 17 male at the time, got along with all 3 of her kids. Kathy had always wanted a big family, but was unable to have one, so having 5 kids was amazing for her. The problem between me and Kathy started about 6 months later. She's a helicopter mom and still chooses her kids' outfits, even though they're in high school now.
What?
That's kind of...
My mom stopped picking out my outfits in the 3rd grade.
She's very controlling and extremely conservative. On the other hand, my siblings and I were raised with the one rule being don't let the hospital, police, or school call us. My parents were extremely lenient and let us get into trouble. We have a very casual and honest relationship with our parents. My parents knew when we were experimenting at that age and told us to make sure we did so responsibly and with limits. It was common for us to spend weekends at parties and friends' houses. This was a problem for Kathy from the start. We lived with my mom and saw my dad every other weekend, with holidays being split. The system worked. I was and am in a nearby university. My sister was in an internship, and my brother in a nearby high school, with both my brother and I working part-time. Since we were busy with academics and friends and work, we saw my dad very little. This ruined her image of her big, happy family. She started picking fights with us over this, but we explained that we were older than her kids and had lives of our own to run at this point. She was not having this. We made an effort to have dinner with them once a week, but I work late hours, so I saw them less. Kathy had been the reason why my dad missed my birthday for 3 years.
What?
It was tradition ever since the divorce that he would take us for breakfast for our birthdays and sushi for big events or moments in our lives. My dad missed my 19th birthday because Kathy needed him. My 20th birthday because he had to go with her and her kids to her late husband's mother's farm, and my 21st for the same reason. Why you gotta go to the farm? It's your daughter's birthday.
Yeah, unless she likes the farm.
Who does? Kathy?
OP.
OP ain't at the farm.
Yeah, true.
He also missed my high school graduation, my first job, and me getting into university.
That's 3 sushi dinners you owe her.
Because of Kathy?
Yeah. She's super controlling, dude.
Why is she doing this?
Because she put a shock collar on him because he likes it, and she just anytime he tries to do anything.
Everybody has their own quirks, right?
You know, dude, I'm sorry. You know this man likes being told what to do. Kathy's telling him what to do.
Well, I mean, that's one thing, but, you know, I feel like the vibe from, you know, how they kind of let their kids be...
That was the dad and the first mom.
I just feel like a parent who would let their kids exercise freedom would sort of also value their own.
Maybe he had too much freedom and he likes some guidelines. He likes being told where to go.
Hey, people change, right?
People are changing.
I don't hold any of this against him because I understand that he thought he needed to build a relationship with Kathy. And no, I haven't gotten an apology. Things with Kathy got so bad that I had to go back to therapy. Just being around her and her kids for hours on end would send me into panic attacks. I tried. I picked up her kids from school. I took them out for ice cream and skating, things that my siblings and I would do. I even got them things that they wanted and took them places that they really wanted to go. But things only got worse when Kathy found out I was bi. I don't hide it, but I also don't pronounce it to the world because I don't think it should be anyone's business. Her daughter had been talking about the LGBT community, and I offhandedly mentioned that I am bi. She asked questions, and I answered. They were normal questions that I have gotten 100 times in the past. Kathy was livid when she found out.
Like, whenever two vajayjays meet, which vajayjay forms into a penis to receive the other vajayjay?
Like a vajayjay Voltron?
Yeah. When two vajayjays meet, which one inseminates the other one?
They just need tools. They need their tools. They need to acquire tools.
When two vajayjays meet, which one sprays out the sauce?
Which one's the dominant one?
Yeah.
I think they like wrestle. During all of this, I had a serious talk with my dad. He understood that I wasn't doing well mentally and needed to set my boundaries. We agreed that I would only attend birthdays and special occasions and only for a few hours. I still spoke to him on the phone at least 3 times a week. Kathy was understandably angry. Despite this, the relationship continued to grow. I support my dad's relationship because Kathy is good for him. Since dating her, he's been more active, healthier, calmer, and happier.
Probably because Kathy told him to do that. Be more healthier, be more happy, be more calm.
Well, sometimes people need like a guiding force in their life from their partner, you know? Some people want to maintain their independence, absolutely, and some people are totally open to being like, babe, what do I do? Help. It should be for those kind of things and not like, am I allowed to like be at my daughter's birthday? Because low key, it's like we had to go to the farm. I feel like it's Kathy scheduling that stuff on purpose so that they're not around during Loki's birthday. All of those positives being why, when he asked us a little less than a year ago for our blessing to propose, my siblings and I were happy to give it. The engagement was sweet and everyone fell into wedding planning quickly. My dad and I spoke about my role in the wedding. My brother and new stepbrother would be his groomsmen, while my stepsister would be a bridesmaid. My sister and I would walk down the aisle together, but didn't have any role beyond that. The date they chose fell on a long weekend where my best friend Violet was celebrating her 21st birthday. I spent my 21st with my friends, staying with my mom and stepdad. They had moved to a beach house earlier that year because they both work from home and were tired of the city. All the kids were in university or working, so it was a good time to do so. Since my friends are close with my mom and stepdad, I asked that we spend a week there. My best friend Nina and her boyfriend Chris asked that we do the same for their 21st birthdays, and my mom agreed because she's adopted them as her own. When Violet asked if we could go for her birthday, I had to tell her that it would have to wait until the following weekend because of the wedding. The wedding was Saturday, and I knew I wouldn't have the energy to do the 3-hour drive on Sunday, but because of exams, we decided to move it a bit more than a week when we didn't have classes or exams. Probably a solid idea.
Yeah.
I mentioned this to my dad when telling him about my day and my summer plans. My dad suggested that because of our prior arrangement, I could attend the wedding ceremony and be in the family pictures and then leave. I told him that it was fine. I wanted to spend the day with him. It came out that Kathy was worried about me drinking at the wedding. Kathy's just a worrywart.
Kathy's the extremely conservative person.
Oh, Kathy.
What the heck, dude?
I do drink on occasion, but rarely more than is normal for a university student. Kathy also thought that my suit, a dark gray with a floral emerald shirt, would ruin the photographs. I don't care that my dad didn't argue with her. At this point, I would do anything to avoid tension and fights. So I reluctantly agreed. The day of the wedding came and everything went as planned. I smiled and cried through the ceremony. I smiled for the photos I was asked to be in. I then said goodbye and left. I picked up my friends and their boyfriends, and the 5 of us went away for the rest of the long weekend. We had an incredible weekend at the beach, swimming, tanning, hiking, doing wine tastings, all that good stuff. I noticed calls and texts from people, but didn't check it because I honestly didn't have the time. I was also enjoying myself too much. When I came back that Tuesday, I finally checked my phone. There had been drama at the wedding.
Of course.
My dad's friends had been confused that I left. My dad explained the situation, and his friends got angry. They're all like aunts and uncles to me, and from what I've heard, my dad's best friend called Kathy out in front of everyone. Her speech at dinner had gone something along the lines of, quote, "Look at my perfect little family here." My dad's friend then apparently said something along the lines of, "You are so lucky to have these 3 kids in your family of 7, not 6, in his speech. Now everyone is attacking Kathy for excluding me. People went into her social media and started to point out that I was nowhere to be found while my siblings were. Kathy wants me to make a post explaining that it was my decision and that I hate photos, which is why I'm not in them. I don't even have social media. My dad and I have agreed that I should keep my distance for the time being until everything is settled down. But it's been a few weeks and I miss my dad, but Kathy's refusing to let me see him. Hey, did you know that your dad can actually make choices for himself because he's a grown man?
Yeah, did you know that your dad could have chose not to marry Kathy, but he still did for some wacko reason?
Well, it wasn't wacko, right? OP said that she noticed a lot of positive changes in her dad, like when they got together, but at the same time,
Kathy is stopping him from seeing his kids.
He's trying to prevent him from having a relationship with her, which is unacceptable. And you need to start pressing him to tell him, hey, you need to put your foot down with Kathy, that it's not her place to tell you how to have a relationship with your own daughter.
Yeah.
My brother and sister say that I should just apologize, while my friends are telling me that it doesn't matter. Am I the one in the wrong here when 1, my dad suggested it, and 2, Kathy didn't want me at the wedding in the first place? And we do have an update. I would say you're not the a-hole, clearly, because you had worked this out ahead of time with your dad. If anything, your dad should be the one stepping out in front of this and saying, this was my idea.
Yeah.
It was just to make everyone, it was a compromise to make it work for everyone. Dad needs to start taking an active role in
your life,
in making these things clear. Let's go into the update. It has been a few months since my last post, and there have been a few developments. First off, I want to answer some questions and explain a few things from the comments on my first post. A lot of people are saying that Kathy can't be good for my dad, which I agree with, but my dad was a workaholic before they started dating. Except for the occasional visit to friends, he was basically a hermit. Kathy gets him out of the house and active. He's part of the community and involved at the school. He also never looked after himself, but now he does. That is why I say she's good for him. She takes care of him and makes him take care of himself. As to abiding by her wishes and making a post, I have no social media. Weird for somebody my age, but I just don't have any social media besides Reddit, which I barely use, and Tumblr. I don't see the use in making an account, be it Instagram or Facebook, just to make a post for her. Don't worry though, my mom has been very honest with anyone who reached out to ask her what happened. From what I've heard, my dad has been getting quite a bit of flack for his actions, or what I would call inaction. Boom.
Get roasted.
I have decided to go no contact with my dad and Kathy and her kids. I notified my dad and he wasn't very happy about it. I explained that everyone can calm down for a few months and then we can reevaluate everything. Okay, so that's good. It's not permanent.
Permanent is just for now, no contact.
Just temporary. And maybe that'll make your dad understand the value of a relationship with his daughter, and he'll wake up and say, I can't let my wife bully me about seeing my children. I had full intentions on contacting him again after a year, but I no longer do. Oh, what did Dad do?
Oh, God.
He texts me every now and again, just saying that he loves me and good luck with my exams. Kathy's kids have reached out through my siblings for help with essays and projects. I helped as much as I could without actually speaking to them. They didn't do anything wrong except keep their mouths shut, so I'm trying to be as lenient as possible to them. My brother and sister are supporting me. They still see my dad and Kathy and plan on spending Christmas with that side of the family. I'm all for it because I will be spending Christmas with Violet and her family. My brother and sister update me every now and again when somebody gives my dad flack or if something big happens, like my stepbrother breaking his arm. My mom and stepdad have been really supportive of my decision as well. They don't bring up what happened unless I do, and they don't engage with anyone asking questions online. Whenever someone asks something in person, they're more than happy to tell them the entire story, though. On a happy note, I actually got married.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations. This isn't really the point of this post, but I think context is necessary. And I like saying it. So shortly after the last post, I met a guy and we started dating. One thing led to another, which led to jealousy. And Violet and I admitted that we loved each other for years, but didn't want to ruin our friendship. We broke up with our boyfriends and have been together since. We've been friends for over a decade, and once we were dating, we realized that we've been doing couple things for so many years that we were technically dating without realizing it. We were out with friends one night and just thought, why not? We got a priest, and with our closest 5 friends as witnesses, we got married in our local church and went out to have drinks after for our celebration. We didn't tell anyone until a week later. Kathy moved in with me and my siblings until me, Kathy, and Nina and Chris got an apartment, which we love. It's been a roller coaster from there. Our parents are happy for us, even if they demand we have a proper wedding that they can attend. Isn't Kathy the mother-in-law?
Yeah. The crazy conservative mother-in-law.
Moved in with them? Kathy moved in with me and my siblings until me, Kathy, and Nina and Chris got an apartment. Kathy cannot be.
I think it's a different person.
It's got to be a different.
Has to be. Yeah. Different Kathy. I think Kathy's one of OP's friends.
Yeah. It's been a roller coaster from there. Our parents are happy for us, even if they demand we have a proper wedding that they can attend. My sister told my dad, and he called. I was out of the room when he did, and Violet answered. By the time I walked into the room, she was yelling at him, telling my dad, "You treated her like a coat that you could use and put away whenever you want. I'm treating her how she deserves to be treated, trying to make up for your parenting." I've cleaned up the language quite a bit, but it made me cry, and I couldn't love anyone more than I loved her in that moment. I really fell even more in love with her. And she's got your back.
Dang.
You and Violet.
Yep. And she's wearing that coat every single day.
She's like, I don't even take it off when it's hot outside. Violet has helped me stay no contact with my dad throughout this ordeal. She's also been helping me work through my initial guilt over going no contact with him. She's been making sure that I'm attending therapy and working through my emotions. I've done a lot of work and have come to a lot of realizations that I can't make everything perfect by pretending that it is. One of the major things has been the wedding. Every girl wants their dad to walk them down the aisle, and Violet simply said that our moms would walk us down the aisle since she doesn't have a dad. She's been helping me come to terms with my treatment over the years, and it's honestly been a fantastic feeling. I feel lighter and happier and like I can see everything more clearly. My siblings have told me that Kathy is cursing us high and low to anyone still listening to her. My dad's friends are extremely conservative, but they've all commented their congratulations on my mom's post. Kathy also apparently told my dad that I was never allowed in their house again and would only be forgiven if I got a divorce. I'm not planning on it. But you know what I want y'all to plan on?
What's that?
Joining us when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap our profile and you're in. Other than that, my university graduation is coming up. My university runs from February to November. Violet and I can't wait to start our post-grads and maybe in a few years have an actual wedding. Kathy can screw it and my dad can go along with her until he realizes that he should be protecting his daughter instead of leaving her in harm's way. I'll be keeping this account for a while because Violet wants to see what people say, but after that, I'll probably delete it. Thank you everyone for all the support you've given me. Who knew the internet could actually be helpful?
Aw.
Oh, we do. We're on the internet and we're helpful.
We are personas on the internet. I just realized that.
But that's the end of that story.